Before diving into this story, hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe, because here, every story is a new emotion you won't want to miss. They said he would never come back, but every time I sang ... he cried. Letitia was 24, a quiet dreamer with calloused hands and eyes that still carried stardust. Every night, long after the visitors left and the hospital halls turned hollow, she sang softly as she swept. The janitor's cart rolled beside her like an old companion. Born in the outskirts of Recife, raised by her grandmother after losing her mother at 7, Letitia had few constants in life, but music was always there. At Santa Lucia Hospital, she was invisible to most. Doctors rushed past her. Nurses barely noticed her, but Letitia didn't mind. Hidden beneath her humble uniform, her heartbeat and melody, always humming, always listening. Room 302 had always unsettled her, not because of ghosts or death, but because of the silence. Fernando Vieira, the patient inside, had been there for 6 months, motionless, breathing, but not alive. She only knew his name from the clipboard, Fernando Vieira. He was 38, once a powerful music mogul, according to the gossip at the nurse's station. Car crash. No visitors. No flowers. Just machines whispering the rhythm of a life suspended in limbo. That night, Letitia entered 302 with her mom, softly singing the lullaby her grandmother used to hum. Dorm, mi menino, dorm. She wasn't even thinking, just letting her voice fill the void. Then beep, the heart monitor spiked. She froze, silence. She looked up a screen, then at the man in the bed. His eyes stayed closed, face expressionless. But the numbers didn't lie. She sang the line again. The monitor jumped again. Her heart pounded in sync. Was this real? Letitia stepped closer. Her voice trembled as she repeated the melody, and the monitor followed her like a symphony. When she stopped, the rhythm fell, normal, flat. She whispered to herself, eyes wide, "You can hear me, can't you?" Letitia began returning to room 302 every night. What started as habit became ritual. She would mop quietly, then sit beside him and sing soft songs, lullabies, or whatever her heart remembered. She talked to him like an old friend, her voice painting pictures of her day, her dreams, her doubts. And always the monitor responded, pulsing gently like a secret heartbeat between them. She told him about her childhood in a small house with peeling walls and sunlit mornings. Her grandmother always sewing, humming tunes between stitches. They had no radio, so Letitia found music in everything, the wind, the street vendors, the church bells. Later, she discovered YouTube at the library and taught herself to sing with a secondhand phone and cracked earbuds. Music made her feel like someone. As her stories flowed, the camera faded into her memories. A little girl with wild curls standing on a plastic chair, singing with all her heart into a wooden spoon. The old TV played videos of Brazilian singers. Her grandmother clapped along, her eyes shining with pride. Even when there wasn't enough money for school lunch, there was always a song. In room 302, Fernando's fingers twitched faintly when she laughed. She didn't notice at first, but the machine did. The numbers jumped. Letitia grinned, nervously hopeful. "I guess you like stories, huh?" She whispered, brushing hair from his forehead with a gentleness that surprised even her. The camera cuts to Fernando's life. A sleek office, a young man in a tailored suit, eyes cold, voice sharp. He was brilliant, respected, feared, but alone. His father, a towering man with a hard voice, told him that music was childish. "You're not here to feel, Fernando. You're here to build." So he did. He buried his piano, his notebooks, his dreams. Flashbacks show Fernando as a teenager, fingers dancing on piano keys late at night. His room was the only place he felt real. But when his father found the sheet music, he tore it apart. "Dreams won't feed you, Fernando never played again. He became a shark in the industry, signing artists, profiting off their voices while his own stayed silent. Back in the hospital, Letitia sang an old samba that made her eyes water. I used to sing this with Va, Rosa, when the rain fell and we had to eat bread with sugar and butter. The monitor leapt. A tear rolled down Fernando's cheek. Letitia froze, heart in her throat. You felt that, didn't you? Day by day, she came back. She brought him sunlight through stories about the rude nurse, the security guard who danced badly, the dream she had where she performed in front of a crowd. She told him secrets she'd never told anyone. I'm scared, she admitted once. Scared that this is all I'll ever be. The monitor pulsed, slow and steady, as if answering. In his mind, in that deep quiet, something stirred. Faint echoes of chords he once played. A girl's voice, warm, trembling, full of life, reached him through the darkness. It wasn't just the music. It was her. She reminded him of something he had lost before he even knew how much it mattered. The soul behind the sound. Letitia didn't know it, but she was waking up more than just nerves and memory. She was cracking open the shell Fernando had built over a lifetime of denial. Her songs weren't just lullabies, they were keys. Each melody unlocked a corner of his heart that had been bolted shut for years. And somehow, between mops and whispered dreams, a miracle began. Letitia's world began to shake the moment she overheard the doctors talking outside. Room 302. No neural response. It's time, one said coldly, flipping through a chart. The hospital administrator signed off on it without hesitation. They gave orders to clear the room by Friday. Letitia stood frozen behind her cart, heart pounding. They were going to pull the plug. She ran after the doctor, tears in her eyes. Please, he's reacting. He moves when I sing, he cried. The doctor sighed like she was just a child with too much imagination. Miss, you're a cleaner, not a neurologist. No one listened. No charts reflected what she felt in her bones. Fernando was still in there, alive, waiting. That night, Letitia snuck into the room with her cracked phone. She placed it on a shelf, turned on the camera, and began to sing softly a lullaby, trembling. As always, the monitor's rhythm shifted, and then a tear slipped from his eye. She zoomed in, whispered his name, and filmed every twitch, every flicker of life. It was all she had left. She uploaded the video anonymously, captioned it, "He only responds when I sing. They're going to turn off his machines. I don't know what else to do." By morning, it had exploded. Thousands of shares, comments from around the world. Don't stop singing. He's in there. Keep going. This is what love looks like. Letitia stared at her screen, overwhelmed and shaking. News outlets started calling. Journalists showed up at the hospital gates. The story had caught fire. Even former patients, musicians, and celebrities began reposting the clip. One famous singer tweeted, "That girl's voice just saved a life." The hospital tried to do damage control, but it was too late. The public had taken sides, and they were with Letitia. The hospital board was forced to halt the procedure. Under pressure, they called for a reassessment. Letitia wasn't just the girl who cleaned floors anymore, she was the voice that awakened a soul. Room 302 became a place of whispers, prayers, and silent awe. And for the first time in months, Fernando's fingers moved clearly, intentionally toward the edge of the blanket. At dawn, Letitia returned to the quiet halls of Santa Lucia Hospital. The world was still asleep, but her heart was wide awake. She slipped into room 302, placed her hand gently on his, and began to sing, her voice trembling, soaked with tears. It was the same lullaby her grandmother used to sing, the same one Fernando had cried to. Suddenly, his eyelids fluttered. A flicker, then open. His eyes met hers, dazed but aware. His lips parted, dry and hesitant. "What's your name?" The question was weak, but it shattered her. Letitia choked on a sob, gripping his hand tightly. "Letitia," I'm Letitia. Tears welled in his eyes. That song, he whispered, voice cracking. My mother used to sing it to me when I was a boy. Letitia smiled through her tears, brushing his hair back gently. She must have known it would find you again. For a moment, time stood still. In that sterile hospital room, something divine had just occurred. Later that week, an elderly nurse sat with Letitia during her break. She recalled a story from years ago, a wealthy young producer who funded a music program for poor children, one of whom was Letitia's mother. The man never revealed his identity, but Letitia remembered the music that filled those afternoons. It was Fernando, the nurse said. He started it all. Letitia covered her mouth, speechless. She walked back to room 302, her heart racing with understanding. Fernando had unknowingly given her the very spark that saved her as a child. Now, years later, she had returned that light to him. Two souls, found not by chance, but by harmony, by a song that passed through time, pain, and silence connecting them both. 6 months later, room 302 had been transformed. Fernando, now recovered, stood proudly beside Letitia in their modest music studio. The sign read, Studio 302. She stepped into the booth and recorded her first track. Her voice was stronger, fuller, alive. The album title? Room 302, a tribute to the silence that turned into song. Letitia's voice closes the story in a soft narration. You never know how far a song can reach. Sometimes all a sleeping heart needs is to hear your truth echo in the silence. She pauses, the music fading. If this story touched you, imagine how many others are waiting to awaken. Share it, spread love. Sing to someone today.